So how long does it take to develop your singing voice? It totally depends. It completely depends. I think you can learn to sing country in like 2 days. No, not really. But it depends on the type of music. It depends on what you're trying to go for. It depends on what kind of range you want. It depends on what kind of style you're going for. Rock singing with rasp, with that really heavy distortion, I still don't even have that down yet. It's really hard to do. It's going to take years to develop, to do properly. You can get it down quicker, but if you shortcut it, probably going to do some damage to your voice. But even just high notes, even if you don't have the grit, that can take years to develop because you're strengthening the muscles in here. You are working on coordinating them on certain pitch. Your vocal cords are basically two folds in your throat that come together at different points, and it's really working with a really finite amount of. It's very precise. There has to be a lot of precision for them to close at a certain pitch and hold that out. So in order to build up those muscles, it takes a long time. So if you're singing lower notes, if you're singing things that aren't very demanding on the voice, even pop songs are often very heady and light. So, like for example, it would take a lot longer to develop. Let's bring out a tenor high C, right? It would take a lot longer to develop it if you're trying to sing it like this. Than if you were trying to sing it like this. The first one, there's a lot more going on. There has to be more breath support. The muscles have to be stronger. You have to be more open. You have to learn how to project properly. There's a lot that goes into that. The second one, the really light one, you might be able to use stylistically in a pop song, the falsetto, heady kind of voice. You can go back and forth between a little airy and not breathy and not breathy, right? You can do a lot with it, but realistically, it just depends on what level you want to reach. If you're trying to reach like Brendan Urie's level, where you can sing anything, or like Peliquet, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's been a while since I've seen his videos. Or Ken Tamplin, that's going to take years and years. It's going to take. You might be able to get the range. You might be able to get your voice up there within a year or two, but to have control over it, to have that really to make it sound good and have the kind of basically control over your voice to make those higher notes sound good, that's going to take a lot of time. That's not going to happen overnight. So how long does it take to develop your singing voice? It totally depends, guys. It depends if you're trying to just sing with if you just have an acoustic guitar and trying to sing quietly. You could probably develop a decent singing voice in maybe 6 months to a year if you're just using your talking voice, you're not really getting out there. But if you're trying to sing things like Hands Like Houses in like Panic at the Disco and I don't know, Seosin and even older stuff like Skid Row, that's going to take a lot of time. You're not going to get that in a year. You're not going to get that in maybe 2 years, 3 years. It's going to take a lot of time. And the only way to really shortcut that is to get lessons. And even with lessons, it's going to take time. So how long does it take to develop your voice? It depends. It could be anywhere from 6 months to develop a decent singing voice for acoustic guitar, where you're just kind of using where the voice is more just a complementary instrument to your guitar. If you're more of a guitarist and your voice is just a complementary instrument because you like playing guitar, that won't take nearly as long as if you're trying to become a professional singer and you really wanted to develop your range and you wanted to take your voice to the highest level. So it entirely depends. It could take anywhere from 6 months to 6 years to 16 years. And it depends on how much you practice too. If you practice every day for an hour, you're going to progress way faster than the person who only practices 1 hour a week. So what you put in is what you get out, and that's where you're going to stand. And the key is really just learning as much as you can and practicing as much as you can, but also getting the proper rest so your voice can recover, kind of like if you had a workout, and using it properly so that it doesn't break down on you and cause throat issues and cause other issues that are going to hinder your voice. So keep practicing. If you really have a burning desire to sing songs with really high notes, kind of like my cover of Same Thing We Do Every Day, Pinky by Broadway on this channel, that's going to take a long time. That's a song I went back to over and over again, and really just now I felt like I was able to do it some justice. It's still not perfect. There's still a lot of things I'm working on with my voice, but 5 years ago, if I told myself, my 20-year-old self or 21-year-old self, that I was gonna post a video of me singing that, I don't know if I would have believed it or not, because I didn't have the type of control or the range or the stamina or the power to even get close to pulling that song off, right? So practice, learn, and don't focus on the timeline. Just enjoy the process, and that's how you're gonna get to the highest level, and that's how you're gonna find the most enjoyment out of it. Just enjoy the process, enjoy practicing, enjoy the challenge, enjoy it. Don't think of it as a task. Just think of it as a hobby. Think of it as something you like to do, and try to get yourself to look forward to practicing even the stuff that's kind of monotonous, that's really not that fun. Try to think of ways that you could make it fun, and just try to enjoy the process, and get lessons, connect with people, get involved with the community, because if you don't have community, if you don't have support, if you don't have something to connect on, and you're really just like kind of by yourself, which is how I pretty much learned it. I mean, I got lessons here and there, but it was pretty much just me drilling out exercises alone in my parents' basement when I was younger. And now I've moved around here and there, but I've kept up with my exercises and singing. So it just depends on how much you're going to put in, but just try to enjoy it. Try to enjoy the process. Fall in love with the process, and don't worry about how long it's going to take, because as long as you love the process, and you love making weird sounds, and you like challenging your voice, and you like trying new songs, and you just keep the fire going, you keep the desire going, and you stay inspired, like, you're going to get there. It's not a matter of if, but just when.